In this session, I'd like to speak a little bit about Psalm 29. Now, 29 is one of the oldest Psalms written, and from what we know about it, it probably wasn't written by a Jewish author. It was originally written for a pagan audience. Let me read the first couple of verses. Ascribe to the Lord, O sons of God, ascribe to the Lord glory and power, ascribe to the Lord the glory of his name, worship the Lord in holy attire. The voice of the Lord over the waters, the God of glory thunders, the Lord upon many waters. What is this talking about? Well, you heard the phrase, the voice of the Lord. In Hebrew, Kol Adonai. Kol Adonai can either mean the voice of the Lord, or it can mean thunder. And what this psalm is describing is a thunderstorm, a great storm that is uprooting trees, that's pushing boulders aside. And it was originally written for the pagan god of the storms, Baal. Baal was the pagan god worshipped by many of the Canaanites. And interestingly enough, the word Baal means Lord. Remember what the Jewish people called Yahweh? They called him Adonai, which means Lord. So when the pagan people worshipped Baal with this psalm, the Jewish people saw an opportunity. Why don't we just cross out the name Baal and put in the name Adonai or Yahweh? And so they plagiarized this psalm and made it more Jewish. They apply this idea of the fertility of God to Yahweh because Yahweh is the only source of fertility, of growth. This was a special temptation for the Jewish people. Remember, they first met God in the desert. So when they came to Canaan and they planted crops, to whom should they pray to get it to rain? Well, the obvious God would be to Baal, because Baal was the god of that region. Yahweh was the god of the desert. And this psalm tries to teach the Jewish people that that's wrong, that they should pray to Yahweh, because Yahweh is the source of rain, dew, snow, all forms of precipitation. He's the only source of fertility. And so this is a psalm that has a lot to do with the weather. It's a reminder that nature is a communication of God's will. When will we pray this psalm? Well, obviously, when there's a blizzard going on. I came from Buffalo. The blizzards are always happening. Or when there's a terrible thunderstorm, or even when there's a drought going on. We could pray this psalm to remind ourselves that we need the intervention of Yahweh to give us rain. There's a great story in the Old Testament about that. Remember how Elijah the prophet went up Mount Carmel to have a little contest with the priests of Baal. They both sacrificed animals, and the priests of Baal danced and cut themselves and hooped it up, but Baal didn't appear. So Elijah prayed for the intervention of Yahweh. He even watered down the sacrifice to make it a big miracle, and fire came from the sky. Now, what do we call fire from the sky? Lightning. Yahweh was the God of the storms. And immediately after that, Elijah looks out to the sea 7 times, and only on the 7th time does he see a cloud coming in, which brings rain from the seas. Yahweh is the source of fertility in our life. But we don't only have to apply this psalm to the difficulties in terms of weather. We can also apply it to the storms of our life. A lot of times we go through difficulties and we don't know which end is up. When we pray this psalm, it reminds us that God's in charge. Even though in our everyday life it seems as if God is very distant, God will always be there for us. He's the one who controls history, controls our fate, controls everything about our life and our love. And therefore we have to trust in him. And this God, he sits enthroned over the flood. He sits enthroned as king forever. As I said before, even when it seems as if there's no order in our life, as if all is chaos, God is in charge.